Welcome to the Comic Watchtower. I'm Ramon Pinheiro, aka CE Avengers, and this is my friend Nick, and we're going to talk about comics. So today we're going to kind of go into a review of DC TV verse and go through day by day, kind of like what's been building on the shows, and go from there. So let's start with Supergirl.
Supergirl episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3, season 2. So Mon-El, who in the DC verse is Valor, could possibly be a projection of what they might be working on, which I believe is going to be the Young Justice, but we'll go into that a little bit later as we go through the shows. But episode 3, what do you think?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, obviously we don't have Superman anymore, but he was only going to be in it for the first 2 episodes. But could show up later down the line. I thought it was good. It opened up the universe to show that there are a lot more aliens with the alien bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually having John Jones go there and find
Miss Martian.
Miss Martian.
Megan. So, that was another thing that kind of leads us towards possibly, is it going to happen? Young Justice on DCTV. So we'll see kind of like where it goes from there, but that's just Supergirl. Episode was pretty good, I say. The way that they're leading the show is definitely good. Still, the graphics of Martian Manhunter is to be desired, but it is what it is. At least it's not as bad as Red Tornado.
That was the one episode that I actually didn't watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first season, the special effects budget must not have been that great. But this season's been pretty solid so far, I gotta say.
Yeah, so far, Supergirl definitely doing a good job. Now they have Jimmy Olsen taking the reins for Cat Grant, which, I mean, at that point, it's like, I mean, other than him standing up for himself, that was pretty cool at the end of the show. I definitely think that, being a supporting character doesn't really do anything for the show either way, but it was just fun to see that. Just the development of the DEO? Or the DOE?
DEO, yeah.
Yeah, DEO. Basically, the development of that, it's growing into something much bigger. Now, they also have this lesbian detective that's going to be joining the show, apparently. She's kind of following with Supergirl's sister and kind of going through there as like a little detective show, which is a pretty good way to kind of see it. She's apparently into aliens. She likes aliens, which her girlfriend was, I think, the bartender at that bar, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, one of them.
So it adds a little flavor to the DC TV. I mean, they actually do have other characters like the White Canary or in the Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Legends, they have White Canary, which we'll go back to Legends later.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much what we have for Supergirl. I mean, I don't know if you have any other points that you want to add.
I think the show is great. Like I said, season 2 is doing a good job building up the story. There's one thing that I can't get past, and Kara's sister, I had the thought that I knew her from somewhere and didn't know where.
Mm-hmm.
And then realized that she was the girl from Not Another Teen Movie that got caught masturbating.
Oh, God.
So every time I see her, I think of that scene, and it makes me laugh really hard. But otherwise, that's on a different topic.
Hey, they could be recast. They could be recast for better roles, and apparently she got one. But...
Yeah, but I'm saying it still makes me laugh to see where some actors came from.
So now we go from Monday to Tuesday, which is, as everybody knows, Flash Day, running on Tuesdays. Season 3, I believe, right?
Season 3, episode 4.
Of The Flash. It has to do with...
the new Rogues.
Yeah, the new Rogues, Mirror Master, Top. They also have a new Harrison Wells. who is pretty hip and cool, but he has like a dark side to him, apparently.
It's like jazzy.
Yeah, he's like, hip, and he tries to do like a weird Star Wars reference when he comes to
They've been
the
doing a
Flashverse.
lot of that this week. They
Yeah.
did a lot of Star Wars references.
So it was pretty funny to see kind of Harrison Wells in that more hip or the other different dialects that they had him in the different worlds. But it actually opens up the DC TV verse to the multiverse now because you're basically showing all these different Earths that they have contact with.
They had touched on the multiverse before, but this could possibly go back to season 1 where they showed Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That would be awesome. I mean, right now with everything that they having a new Flash, was that Jesse Quick?
Mm-hmm.
Then they introduced Kid Flash at the beginning of Flashpoint, and then they took his powers away, and hopefully they're gonna reinstate his powers somehow in the next up and coming episodes. But now that's number 3, as in possible Young Justice characters. Now you have Kid Flash, you have
Wally
Megan,
West, Kid Flash.
Yeah, Wally West, Kid Flash. But you have Kid Flash nonetheless, right? So I mean, you have Kid Flash, you have Megan, and you have Mon-El, who could possibly take the place of Superboy, unless they do end up cloning him for another episode, and that would kind of give us another reign of Galatea, who is also big in the Young Justice TV show. So that's there's possible characters there that they could be playing with to add them to the Young Justice. So as we go on, what did you think about Mirror Master?
I thought they did a really good job with his powers. I was really hoping to see his costume rather than just wearing a suit.
Yeah.
But I think they handled him pretty well.
Yeah, they did a gender bend on top. Basically, they instead of becoming Roscoe, I believe his name is, right? Something like that. They changed it to Rosalind. I mean, it kind of gave it more of like a Joker Harley Quinn type of look to me, but I mean, it was like they're two crazy gangsters. Well, she's not the gangster; he's the gangster, and she's just like following his suit type of thing. So it kind of reminded me a little bit about Joker and Harley Quinn. What do you think?
I just find it funny that the top is the bottom.
You with the one-liners. We're gonna have this all show. So enjoy the one-liners from Nick. He's great at them. So that's basically a little bit of the synopsis of Flash. They keep hinting at Killer Frost.
They expanded way more on it in this episode than they have before. I mean, we had either last episode, 2 episodes ago, you saw that she had the capability to use her powers, and she wasn't saying anything or using them.
Yeah.
Now, she's not able to control them at certain points, like they showed in the shower. And then she was able to use them to help Barry, but didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I think Barry knew.
I mean, there's a strong possibility that he does. I mean, he's got to know some form or fashion that something's going on. There's no way that like Captain Cold did it because he's basically supposed to be dead at this point, correct? From Legends of Tomorrow.
I don't even know. That show messed me up last season.
So, I mean, he's not really supposed to be around. I mean, they used him as a hologram to capture Mirror Master and then basically do that mirror prism that they basically put him in to capture him.
I thought they were going to put him in an actual prison that was completely enclosed in mirrors. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, but they actually put them in the same prison that they put all the metas, so it's kind of like they're trying to use it like Marvel used their prison to hide all their
they had a bunch
villains. Yeah, but the main one that Hank Pym and Tony Stark built, that prison, the one that shrank in size. Remember that one? Well, they had that one, I swear. So now we're going from The Flash. I mean, episode 4, what did you think? Definitely a good one?
For The Flash, yeah, it was pretty good. I'm trying to think, there was something else.
I mean, my thing is, I really think that that kid that's his partner from nowhere is really alchemy. The
Oh,
Draco
Draco Malfoy.
Malfoy, yeah. I think he's alchemy
That would
secretly.
be too obvious.
But there's just no reason for him to be there. Now all of a sudden he's there. It just doesn't make any
And
sense.
he's an asshole, but that's Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
So
But he's not
maybe
Draco Malfoy in
maybe
Flash.
he secretly is. You don't know. It could have been the alternate timeline.
You heard it here first. We're actually going to be tying in Harry Potter into the Flash. So there you go.
It could happen. It could totally happen.
That's a major crossover other than the four show crossover that they're going to come out with in November. So stay tuned for that. So now we go from Tuesday to now the Arrow with his new team.
Oh, the only thing I wanted to touch on with the Flash, Barry and Iris, their relationship is getting super serious now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, they're kind of everybody's been seeing it in the beginning, but they never really saw it. It's kind of like
she's like pushing him to get inappropriate in front of Joe.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the
that-
awkward family thing that they're trying to bring. That like they're together, they're a family, but now they're together.
But it's very like I don't think she understands how awkward of a situation that is. If I was dating someone and I literally just started dating them, even if I knew their father, it would still be a little awkward. He was raised by Joe.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, oh yeah, it's totally cool.
Yeah, but you got to remember, he's always had a crush on Iris from the beginning, and Joe knew about it.
That doesn't mean he's going to dick her in front of Joe.
I mean, this is true. I don't think that they're going to do that, but I think that more, if it's not as serious because he knew about the crush in the beginning, that maybe it's not going to hit them as hard. But, he's also sees that his daughter is happy. So, I mean, the fact that she's happy and finally with the guy that she's supposed to be with, and that in season 1 that they kind of sent into the future that they're eventually going to get married will give us more precursors as into the future of the multiverse and also the Flash family, with Bart possibly, which is another Young Justice character coming.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, so that's another kind of precursor there. So now we go into Arrow with his new team. So you have Mr. Terrific, you have Ragman, you have Wild Dog, and who looks like Casey Jones from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then you also have Artemis.
Which they finally called her Artemis, and they finally called him Mr. Terrific.
Correct. So, I mean, Artemis, another precursor to the Young Justice, and I'm going to keep saying it because this week was like full of like spoilers for Young Justice. If DC's not doing it, they're retarded because that was such a big following. I think I watched the show when it came on Netflix like 3 times to get it better ratings because that's how good the show was, especially the second season. But basically, you have all those different characters now come, and they're supposed to be becoming a team now. So that's kind of like what they're looking at right now. So now, talking about the Arrow and his teammates, Wild Dog finally listening to Green Arrow?
I don't know. Obviously, the end of the episode, he was captured by Tobias Church.
Yeah, and he's getting his ass whooped.
Do you think he's going to turn on the Green Arrow and the rest of the team? Because he didn't have that strong of a connection with them, and he was constantly butting heads with Oliver.
I think if they don't end up rescuing him right away, that he's definitely going to turn. If they end up rescuing him, he may not turn, but there's got to be something going on with Church that we don't know about yet, because there's a whole bunch of different villain characters that haven't come out yet for Arrow that people have been kind of typecasting Church in. But the fact that he's, putting on brass knuckles and stuff like that, it's got to be something there that we could kind of follow to see where he goes. Some people were saying that he's supposed to be the Joker or some version of the Joker, but he was supposed to be channeling it for the character. But I don't see them actually typecasting him as the Joker, especially for the Green Arrow. But maybe a character like that, possibly, that is in the Arrowverse. But we would have to kind of investigate that to see. But yeah, for Wild Dog, I mean, he may turn, he may not turn.
He is kind of a loose cannon, so that's what I'm wondering.
Well, they do have Dickleback, so That's not a name of a band. It's actually Diggle is back. So, so that's my one-liner for today. Sorry.
Terrible. I don't know if he's going to be back right away as Spartan.
Yeah.
Because he's held up at Hive right now.
Yeah, because he's on the run. So I mean, but he's definitely going to possibly train the kids now. I mean, you have Artemis who is coming into her own type of thing, but still gets undermined by Wild Dog, and then Mr. Terrific kind of is in his own bracket. Is he trying to hit on Ragman? Is he trying to stay married? Because that was like a pretty awkward scene for me. I don't know about you, but
I don't know. The thing with Mr. Terrific that makes me laugh is every time he goes out, he has cornrows, and then when he takes his costume off, he doesn't. So how long does it take him to get ready before he goes out on the street?
Yeah,
it takes a while to do cornrows.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, that's a big thing too, though, is the fact that is that going to be the way his costume is? I mean, in the comics, that's the way his costume is. He's got cornrows, or if I remember correctly, there's another part where he's actually shaved his head down.
I think that would make more sense, because if everyone else takes 10 minutes to get ready, he's over there for 2 hours getting cornrows.
So I mean, but he's also supposed to have a nanite mask for that tee. I mean, it just looks like a really crappy paint job to me right now.
Yeah, I don't think they're really going too far into the development of the costumes as much as they're trying to go into character development, because they got these. Well, technically, you don't have all four of the new recruits that you have to build up. I mean, you have to build up Ragman to tell his story, which they're doing a little bit with Haven Rock and the
choice of blowing up that place rather than the other city.
Yeah.
So I mean, Ragman actually has the best skills out of all of them.
I know,
but he was dropping out and coming back. I mean, I hope he's not like Arsenal where he's dropping out and leaving and then he's going to be on the run or something like that.
I don't think he would.
But so that's what we have for the Arrow. Are there any other things that you could think of that?
The box that they confiscated and put into the police
evidence storage.
It had a sign for Cord Industries.
Okay. So, what does that tell you?
That's a direct lead into Blue Beetle.
Okay. So, that's the original Blue Beetle, right?
Yes.
Before he gets killed off. But, I mean, that's another link to Young Justice.
But the thing that I'm hoping for is that the connection with Blue Beetle eventually leads to a show with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, which would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, I remember them saying that they were going to try to cast a Booster Gold character, but more on the Flash because of the time travel. But, I mean, did he really have powers? Or he kind of had powers, but he didn't have powers?
His suit and his gadgets gave him the powers to travel through time and stuff.
Okay. So he was more like a glorified type of chauvinistic Batman, but not with time traveling powers, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would like to see the character developed. I think, if I remember correctly, they had an episode of him in Justice Unlimited, which you kind of followed that character a little bit in there. Other than the comic books, but you kind of saw the character come to life. I mean, it would be kind of funny to see that. So,
I don't know if they would probably do it as a cameo. They wouldn't have their own show, because to have two shows that are legit traveling through time, and then another show that touches on time travel, it might be too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from what I heard, they're going to be developing another show. I just don't know what it is yet. If I remember correctly.
Maybe it's Young Justice.
It could be. It could be. I'm just saying. I'd be really excited. So that's pretty much what we have for Arrow. Now, going into Thursday, which is Legends of Tomorrow, that's going to be what, Season 2, Episode...
Season 2, Episode...
I want to say 3?
3?
3 or 4. But, so now...
I think it's 3.
That one you have to catch me up on, because I missed that one, but...
So they went to feudal Japan, the end of last episode. Our Man was killed,
Okay.
taking down all of the legends because she thought that McRory was the one that killed him.
Uh-huh.
But Nate was in the infirmary because
Okay.
he's a hemophiliac,
Okay.
so his blood doesn't clot, and
And now,
Ray.
with the problem with like the 1942 episode, towards the end of that one, how does that connect to the one that's in now?
That's where Reverse Flash killed Our Man.
Okay.
And Vixen found him.
Okay.
So then that's why Vixen was on board the Wave Rider because she wanted to take down McRory. With Nate in the infirmary, and because he's a hemophiliac, and Ray had injected him with
Nanites.
with Nazi nanite serum.
Okay.
He thought that would help him out. Essentially, what it did is it gave him powers, and now he is Commander Steel.
Okay. So a DC Colossus.
Pretty much. He can turn his entire body into an impenetrable steel. And in training, Nate falls out of the Wave Rider, and Ray goes after him. They end up in feudal Japan, and that's where everything goes from there. So everybody else follows them, except for Jax and Martin Stein.
Mm-hmm.
They stay back to fix the Wave Rider from the destruction that Nate caused. In doing that, they repair the Wave Rider and find out that there was another secret area on the Wave Rider.
Okay.
They go in, and it's an armory, and they also find a message from Barry Allen in 2056. 56, yeah. They essentially, Barry's telling, it's a message to
Rip.
to Rip Hunter, not to tell the team, but then they don't say what the actual message is.
Whether they pan out or
no, it just cuts to the next scene.
Oh, okay.
So from there, the rest of the legends are in feudal Japan. Nate gets taken by a Japanese girl who helps him with the help of her father.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray gets taken by the Shogun.
All right.
And his suit gets taken. So the Shogun's wearing it, so now they have to try and figure that out.
Okay. So now, from all that, I mean, what do you think? I mean, now they're jumping to a different time period. They're messing up time yet again. Now somebody has the Atom suit on, a samurai, so that you're gonna have to worry about that changing the timeline again, which is what we're having problems with Legends of Tomorrow. You guys keep changing the timeline, adding different things here and there, but there's no resolution to it. But now with the 2056 Barry Allen, I mean, we already knew that Gideon was created by Barry Allen to begin with, because that was typecasted in like the first season with Reverse Flash when he found the secret room. So now they actually did find a secret room made by him for Rip, but basically tells them a message that they don't really discuss.
They don't discuss what the message is. Yeah. But there's a significance to the year 2056, mm-hmm. because in the Young Justice animated series, again, Young Justice, that was the year that Bart Allen went back in time and joined them. Okay.
So I mean, there's another cast member. I mean, if you look at the original 5 or 6, I believe, of Young Justice, you had Robin, which, I mean, I don't know if we're going to definitely see Robin or some form of Robin, like Nightwing, is a possibility.
Nightwing's more of a possibility.
I mean, I would love to see Damian Wayne. I know you keep fighting
They're
him.
not going to do Damian Wayne.
I know you're going to keep
It's
fighting
too much
me,
of a connection to Batman.
but
They're not going to.
Damian Wayne would be a definite option for me. I don't know. But then you have Megan, you have Artemis, Superboy or Mon-El, or possibly a clone of Superman to make him Superboy, whatever, and go from there. Then you have Aqualad, which I don't know how they would connect Aquaman into the series.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to. I think it might be too much points.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I thought this was the best episode that they've had so far in the series.
So I'm definitely going to have to watch it.
Yeah, it showed a great character dynamic between everybody on the team, and the actors just seemed to mesh really well this episode.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I had was the sword that was given to Rey to take down the Shogun was the Yamashiro Sword, which belongs to Katana, which they've already introduced in the
in the Arrow series.
In the Arrow series, so it's possible that she'll show up again somewhere down the road.
Awesome.
Who knows?
Oh yeah, I definitely got to check out that episode. But I mean, basically, you look at the lineup here. This is the DCTV verse. So if you guys have any other questions, comments, leave it below. Maybe we can talk about it in our next episode. Did we miss something? There could be possibly some Easter eggs that we missed, some hidden agendas, because I've been looking way too much at the Young Justice to kind of see any other things. So if there is something that we missed, make sure that you put it below and let us know, and we'll add it into our next episode. So this is the Comic Watchtower, and we're signing off and giving you the comic book news.